In the bustling ports of 14th century Venice, a new practice emerged: quarantine. Ships arriving from plague-stricken areas were isolated for 40 days, a period inspired by biblical traditions. This marked the beginning of quarantine as a public health measure. The term quarantine itself comes from the Italian 40 giorni, meaning 40 days. This period was not just practical, but also held religious significance, echoing Christ's fasting and Noah's flood. Over time, quarantine evolved from a pragmatic response to a formal institution. The establishment of lazaretti in Venice symbolized this shift, transforming ad hoc measures into structured systems of disease management. In early modern Italy, quarantine became a state mechanism. Lazaretti served dual roles, protecting public health and controlling social order. These spaces were both protective barriers and exclusionary zones. Quarantine's dual role extended beyond health. It was a tool for social control, managing not just disease but also the movement of people, especially the marginalized and foreign. As quarantine practices evolved, they became more medicalized. In Florence, during the plague of 1630–31, quarantine was institutionalized with health magistrates and plague hospitals, blending medicine with moral order. These quarantine centers were not just for care, but also confinement. They were spaces of intense surveillance where medicine and morality intertwined, reflecting societal fears and ideologies. Quarantine has long marked the self from the other. Historically, it separated the unclean from the pure, often targeting marginalized groups like the poor and foreigners. In modern contexts, quarantine continues to create socio-spatial divides. During COVID-19, terms like bubbles and rings of steel highlighted how borders became tools for protection and exclusion. The COVID-19 pandemic showcased the bureaucratic nature of modern quarantine. Legal and administrative measures enforced isolation, often leading to psychological burdens and social disparities. Quarantine experiences varied widely. Wealthier individuals often had more comfortable options, while marginalized groups faced stricter, more monitored conditions, highlighting systemic inequalities. Quarantine is not just a policy, it's a social experience. It redefines relationships with space and time, often leading to feelings of isolation, anxiety, and even cultural trauma. Yet, quarantine also fosters unexpected connections. Acts of solidarity, like neighbors helping each other, emerged, showing that even in isolation, human connection persists. Quarantine acts as a mirror, reflecting societal values and fears. It reveals who we choose to protect and exclude, highlighting ethical and cultural dimensions. By examining quarantine practices, we can better understand societal priorities and the ethical implications of who is deemed worthy of protection. Reflecting on past and present quarantine practices, it's clear we must strive for more humane approaches. This involves considering ethical and psychological dimensions in quarantine design. By making quarantine more equitable, we can ensure that it serves its purpose without exacerbating social inequalities or psychological distress. Recap. We've journeyed through the history and cultural impact of quarantine, understanding its evolution from a health measure to a complex socio-political tool. Takeaway: by rethinking quarantine practices, we can create systems that protect public health while respecting human dignity and social equity. Call to action: let's advocate for quarantine policies that are not only effective but also compassionate. Together, we can build a future where health measures are humane and just.